Hi, from now into the foreseeable future, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, I'm going to be interviewing a different video remix artist every week. For my first week, I have Mike Relm, who is not just a video remix artist, but a director, producer, music composer, and acclaimed turntablist. He's won a Webby Award, International Turntablist Award, which was a scratch battle, and he's featured in the acclaimed documentary Scratch. He's done official remixes for movie studios. He's done 4 years of roundup videos for the huge YouTube channel Smosh. He's also been ranked as a new media rock star, and he is the DJ for the legendary hip-hop act Farside. And he's not just DJing and playing music in the background, he's turned their show into an audio-visual spectacular. So here we go with Mike Relm. Just going to run through a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Pretty easy questions.
Go for it.
Yeah, so you're a turntablist, you're many things, but you're an amazing scratch DJ. When did you first start DJing as a scratch DJ?
As a scratch, I mean, I always kind of like, to me, DJing was always scratching. So when I started, I mean, you know, you just kind of, you're just like just messing around or whatever. So it's always been scratching. But you know, you learn mixing, you learn juggling, you learn, you know, production at some point. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I bought my first records in 93, but you know, like, I feel like back then the path to learning was so much slower than it could be now, because we didn't have access to like a bunch of like, you know, videos or tutorials or lessons or whatever. It was just like whoever you knew. And then if they had the VHS, and then you copy that and you know, try to copy what was going on. But you'd only really have like, I think there was like maybe the DMCs to look at. There was no other scratching. You know what I mean? You could hear things on the radio, but like you couldn't see what they were doing, and you know.
So you were watching their hands and trying to figure out what was happening.
Yeah. But the problem is a lot of the tapes were off sync. It's like I remember watching like I know when Rock Raider won, that battle was way off sync, but so it was like really hard to kind of like see exactly what he was doing. But I think that was kind of an advantage, because then you weren't copying him exactly. You were just like trying to you listened to it, but you just kind of like saw how he presented it. Do you know what I'm saying? So you couldn't see like literally what he was doing. Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't think people have to deal with that anymore, because everything's synced up and it's fine. But
like adding groove and quantizing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that too. But like recently, I took an old video, like one of those old DMCs, and I actually like moved the audio to sync up, and I was like, oh my god, it's a whole different thing. Like all those years I was watching it completely off. You know what I mean?
Did you learn any techniques that were technically wrong but were a new invention?
No, I mean, because by now, like, I already knew how to do the stuff. But if I saw it back then the way it was, it would have been maybe a little bit easier. But then, you know, you're just sitting there practicing anyway. You figure it out. You know what I mean?
How old were you when you first started trying to technically do stuff with a turntable?
So that was like probably like 15, 16.
And when did you first start making music? Like composing music?
I mean, that was probably... I remember it took me like 4 years to really feel like I could, you know, scratch and do all that stuff in public. Like, I mean, I did it in public, but it was whack. You know what I mean? But yeah, it took like 4 years until I was like, okay, I think I'm a DJ now. You know what I mean? And then after that, you know, I bought my first like sampler. I started messing with that, and I would say maybe, you know, I didn't really get into like production until like my early 20s.
And was that led by turntabling? Were you recording a lot of ideas from scratching to make music, or were you always into samplers and synthesizers?
No, actually, I was layering scratches. You know what I mean? So sampling, like, you know, like an MPC was a totally different concept to me, you know, because for me it was just like, okay, I got the I'll do the drums by hand. I'll do the the kind of the lead by hand. I'll do the instruments by hand. It's all, and then you kind of just like loop yourself. You know what I'm saying?
What were you recording into?
Just like a Tascam 424.
Oh, you were live building everything, so.
Yeah, live, just
2 minutes of drumming with a turntable.
Pretty much, yeah. You got to kind of remember, like, oh shit, did I do the change up here? Just as soon as I discovered or was told what like an ASR 10 was, and an MPC, I was like, oh my god, this is way better than what I was doing. Like, this is crazy the way I was doing it before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was good because you'll learn, because there's no other, today, like, you couldn't, even if you were to get the most basic entry level, tracking software, your DAW, like, you're gonna be able to like loop it. You know what I mean? If you have a nice little, 4-bar, you could just loop it and chop it. Like, you do all kinds of stuff. Like a tape is so linear. Yeah. It's like, you're just wearing out that rewind and stop and play,
GarageBand on your phone.
Yeah, like GarageBand on the phone is amazing. I haven't used it, but like just compared to what, we had to start with in the 90s, it's crazy. It's insane. What did you start with?
I started playing guitars with like on 4 tracks, and then I had lots of guitar pedals and the guitar pedal, and then I got into electronic music after that. So the guitar pedals became like playing a Casio keyboard through the guitar pedals into a 4-track. Yeah. Damn. And then I got an Amiga games computer, but you could make music with the tracking programs on an Amiga. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was it.
Damn, you still have it?
I think it's in the attic, like my mom's house. Huh. It's probably broken at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably got damp.
You can fix it, dude. If it's just been sitting there, you're fine.
I imagine you could buy like an Amiga 500 for $50 or something.
Yeah. Or that.
Yeah. Or you just emulate it on the PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so when did you first get into video DJing?
I think it was 2000. When did the DVJ come out?
In the early 2000s.
Yeah, I was in Japan and they took me to this little room where they had
a Pioneer.
It was weird. Yeah, it was the DVJ just sitting in there was nothing else. It was just like a table and a monitor. It was almost like something they were just kind of experimenting with.
Yeah.
And then I was messing with it. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is a thing right now. You know?
Yeah, I think I was there a few years after you.
It must have been 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
Because I remember, it was like maybe my second or third trip to Japan. But I mean, I'm sure you had the same reaction. You know what I mean? Like the first time you're scratching video, it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not a very good turntablist, so I definitely came at it from a sampling perspective. And before that, I'd been triggering video loops on a laptop, and the DVJs were just the ability to. It was more like I was using software called VJam, so whenever I hit a sample, it had to play, and I had to slow down the music or speed it up to get it in time. Whereas now with the DVJ, I could slow down the sample instead. So yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I was there a few years after you at the same Pioneer building in Tokyo, and that's when they were working on the SVM, and then they showed us some other stuff that hasn't been released, never came out. And I think I don't know. It's like, yeah, that was a fascinating time. Were you a director before you started video scratching?
I got into directing in the late 90s. I went, again, like when I was DJing, it didn't really feel like I could just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like, I'm going to start playing records and then play this huge festival. And, so it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? Completely different world. To me, the options were like, club DJ, wedding DJ, radio DJ, and that was pretty much it at the time. You know, there. I mean, or
for a profession.
Yeah, for a profession, or if you were a DJ for an MC or a band or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I was like, okay, the opportunity is not huge. I'm not the best. I'm not the most popular. I didn't know where I stood. You know what I mean. So I was like, I'll just carry on with my life. You know what I mean? Like, go to school, study film. That was kind of the plan, anyways. And I was like, you know what? I kind of like this also a lot. You know what I mean? So that was in the late 90s. I was in college. I never finished, and that was because I was DJing so much because things started happening there. You know what I mean? So I just I try to balance it. But you can't. You're out till 3 or 4 in the morning. You can't go to school the next day. You kidding me? Like and especially if I'm in film class, like they turn off the lights and play a movie, I'm like, I'm out.
See, I've heard so many of my American friends say this, and I didn't move to the States till the 2000s, so I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
But in the 90s, being a DJ definitely was a job in Europe. Like,
was it really?
Yeah,
maybe
there were superstar DJs in like 1994 for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you guys were always so far ahead, just in terms of like the culture and
I think it might be
everything that happened in Europe, like with the big festivals and the big club and just the established DJs, like that happened to us like way later.
Yeah, but now it's huge.
Oh yeah,
now it's bigger in the States.
Yeah, crazy.
So how do you perform now? Do you use the DVJs now? How do you perform video?
No, I haven't used DVJs in a long time. Ever since Serato Video.
Right. It's just so much easier to carry around.
Oh, so much. Well, also, it's not only that. It's just the what you can do with it. Like with the DVJ, I had one. You know what I mean? Because there was really there's no point. So I couldn't juggle on the DVJs anyways. So I had one, and just like, of course, that limits you because it's like I have my 2 turntables, just audio, and then I have the DVJ with audio and video. It's like, okay, so you have to kind of like, it's a puzzle. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if I want this thing to happen, I need to do something here to transition to this and that, and then I had to build all kinds of cheats because there was only 3 cue points
per DVD.
Yeah. So basically, and I never wanted to switch DVDs during my set, so I would only use one DVD for the entire time. So I had 3 cue points for the entire show.
Yeah.
So I basically had to pick one routine that I would do, and then everything else was scratching.
Yeah, it's like you're still mixing onto the 4-track recorder.
Pretty much, yeah.
But live, yeah.
Yeah, and you had to build in your own fades. You know what I mean? Like if you want to fade something out, you had to do that beforehand. Because I didn't have a video mixer. It was just straight out into the projector.
Yeah. And so now,
dude, that's crazy. Like 3 cue points. That's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know how or why I did that.
Oh, well, you were able to. That's virtuoso performance.
Yeah, pretty limiting though.
Yeah, I just went straight to 2. I couldn't do it without 2.
Yeah.
And memory sticks for all the cue points.
Yeah. I should have gotten into that. I always kept it so like bare minimum.
And so now you use Serato and mix Emergency or Serato Video?
Just Serato Video.
Nice. And do you use samples? I've seen you playing like MPC style stuff.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like, that's most of the reason why I switched over, because when I was using the DVJ, I was looking for a way to like fire off samples like you would in MPC. You know what I mean? Like, I tried. What's that thing that came out? It was like purple. It was I think Boss made it.
Oh, wasn't it a video synth or something like that?
No,
it was a video sampler.
Yeah, because it was shaped like an MPC. It had the 16 pads. And the weren't pads; they're plastic. But I didn't see it at like a store. I just saw it online, and I bought two of them. I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I need. And then I got it, and I was like, oh wait, no, it doesn't actually trigger audio. So you're just triggering video clips. It was not what I expected it to be.
Yeah, and now it's all inside your laptop.
Yeah, it's all inside, and you can change your key points on the fly. You can, you have whatever 8 per track or however many you have now, and you can do. I mean, total control. You can fade out everything. You could, and the room goes dark, or like night and day, like that. And I could juggle. Like juggling video is one of the most amazing things you could do, I think.
Right, and the visual crossfades along with the audio crossfades.
Yep, everything. It just, completely changed my show. 100%.
And so you're the official DJ for Farside, and I've seen that in the Farside shows you're doing video as well.
Yeah.
Are they literally?
They love having the a full show. They're very visual.
I feel like they might be the only hip hop act in the world doing that.
I think so. I mean, I've people definitely have video, but it's not like that.
Not part of the performance.
Yeah, it's not as integrated. It's not as like I mean, just I'm not sure why.
So sometimes you'll play the music videos that they're singing behind them, and so will you have to remix it if they choose to remix it, or go on the fly, or change the speed, or?
Yeah, pretty much. There are, I mean, you can always like throw on, like what I'll do is I'll have like different versions kind of set up, and then with it's different, like DJing with a band. I've done it a few times, so I kind of remember, like you have your little shortcuts and stuff. That to me is where cue points really come in handy. Because you kind of know, like, all right, this is kind of the spot where they usually do this. So I'm going to set a cue point so that I'm ready, you know what I mean, to mess with this part if they decide to go off script or whatever.
Yeah, nice. That must. Are you about to go on tour again?
Yeah, we're going out on Friday. Yeah.
Awesome. Where are you playing next?
We're going to South by Southwest.
Music Week, right?
Yeah. That's always fun. You've been there before, right?
Awesome. I've been with you there once.
When did we go?
You've probably been so many times they all blend into one.
Oh, that's what you did that. The power plant or something.
Yeah.
Big show.
Yeah, with Diplo, and we were both at that. Was it Maker Studios? We're doing an event. I think you played a Maker Studio thing.
I don't think it might have been YouTube.
They all blend into one. I think I did about four South by Southwest.
Yeah, all the South bys just blend. I mean, it's crazy.
It's my favorite festival because you can get to a clean toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to like just walk out of it and just be in a town suddenly without having to deal with the festival.
And your hotel's like right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only although sometimes I've booked so late, I've definitely been like a taxi ride out to get a place to stay. No, but you know about that? Like,
there's food trucks everywhere. Like, it never really. You're not like, oh man, everything's closed. Like, it's great. It's like 24/7, but not in a overly overpowering Vegas way.
Yeah, Vegas is a crazy place to have to spend a long period of time.
Yeah, I didn't play much. Have you played Vegas much?
Mostly corporate shows. Mm-hmm. But I had to be there for a whole week once, and basically living in a hotel because everything's so far away if you don't get in a car. So and you can get everything in the hotel. So I just stayed in one hotel for a week.
Damn.
It was trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just looking over some of the questions I planned to ask. You're from San Francisco, but you live in LA. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose LA?
I don't know. I always liked it. I came to LA I mean, I would travel back and forth, all the time. And it got to a point where I wasn't doing enough in San Francisco to really justify staying there. So it was just like, yeah, I need to change. Why not LA? I do, I'm always traveling there anyways. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like being in LA, because you've always been really focused on YouTube or the modern social media video thing. Do you feel like being in LA has helped with that, or it's been a good place?
Yeah. I mean, I think LA is a really, it's just an inspiring place, just creatively, no matter what you're doing. I mean, yes, film, television, media is like what dominates out here, but like, I would imagine if I was a photographer or a painter or something, like there's just more creative energy going on. Not to knock, I mean, the Bay Area is super creative. Like that, I mean, so much happens there. It is different now than it was, when I was growing up. So it just kind of like, I guess just kind of needed a change.
Yeah, yeah. And when you're doing YouTube stuff in the past, do you feel like it's changed a lot between when you started and nowadays?
Yeah, that's changed quite a bit. I think, because before it was like, I was just talking about this with some friends last night. It went from, a place for like the introverted nerdy kids to kind of like do little weird quirky ideas and make a living from it and reach a lot of people doing that, to like the the popular kids coming in and just being popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to, I mean, and then you have the networks coming in and doing their YouTube channels, and then like all the, people just with, I mean, I hate to say it, but like with money, you know what I mean? You can just pump out content, and I guess the way the platform is, and this is with all the platforms, you know what I mean? They definitely reward when you're just feeding the monster. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. You were making video remixes for a few years before YouTube came along, though.
Yeah, I mean, not that much before, because YouTube was, 2000. It came out in 2006, maybe 2007.
Yeah. I joined in 2006, but I can't believe I joined straight away. But maybe I did. It was around then. But the thing was, before then, it was so hard. There was no way to get your stuff out, like selling. I saw DVDs and that kind of stuff.
Oh man, I would have to put. I would put my videos just on QuickTime on my website.
Yeah, but that was expensive, right?
It was expensive, and it would just be like a freaking big ass screen and then a little QuickTime video.
Yeah.
So just like there.
So I feel like YouTube changed that for everyone, really.
Oh, it totally did. It made it. Well, actually, what the funny thing is, I would upload videos to YouTube, like on my live shows, or like just like a video remix, and then send it out to like, labels or, booking agents and stuff. And a lot of them, for some reason at the time, I think it's because they were running Flash. They were like, I can't go to this website on my computer because I don't have Flash or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, what? Install Flash then, jeez. But yeah, it's funny that like now you have YouTube's one of the biggest platforms of all time ever.
I think it might be the biggest TV network, and I think there's like 1.5 billion people that watch a video, at least a video a month on YouTube.
Yeah, there's like hundreds of hours of videos uploaded per second or something like this, something stupid like that. Like that's ridiculous. So yeah, it's changed, but I think the cool thing is there's zero barrier to entry. So, like if you want to do something, you just do it.
And is it still a focal point for you?
It still is. Yeah. I mean, I've never been one to upload once a week or whatever. Like I tried the once a week schedule at one point, and I was like, nah, I can't. That's too much, man. Because you feel like, I mean, creatively you just kind of get burnt, and I know a lot of the the YouTubers back in the day, like it's rough. It is a grind to put up videos that often because it's just a cycle of like shoot, edit, upload. And, as at one point everyone's trying to do the everyday thing and just like, dude, that's crazy.
I think what you're doing though, you're not shoot, editing, upload. What you're doing is much harder of like composing. And when you start off with the samples and then you have to compose a piece of music with it, that's a bit different to like just talking to camera.
Control.
Yeah.
You have no control over the, like, you pick what you want, but like, I can't, if there's a sample, I mean, this, like if there's a sample you want to use, like a really good sound bite, but it's a voiceover, it doesn't really have the same, you don't get as much use out of it in a video remix. So you have no control of that. So it's like, this is my hook, but like, it's just a disembodied voice.
Yeah. If it doesn't look good, it doesn't matter if it sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So what's your process like when you do make a remix? You watch something, cut it up?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's basically watch it. What are you talking about, like from when I actually have the files, or when I'm...
Yeah, let's say you're going to remix a movie, and how do you cut up a movie? How do you choose what you're going to work with?
I'll kind of watch it in, I do all my selects in Premiere.
Yeah.
I'll put it in Premiere, have a timeline, and then, I'll just, as I'm watching it, I'll just cut and, separate the little clips that I need. And then at the end of it, I'll delete everything else. And then, ripple, delete, or whatever you call it. So everything is one file. And then that's my file that I use to remix.
And you're looking for sound effects that sound good, dialogue that sounds good, everything. Yeah. Do you look also for picture that looks good but doesn't have good sound?
To me, I think it's sound first. What you're talking about, like if I'm looking for a visual, it's usually towards the end when I've already done the piece, and then I need, to maybe like I was talking about before, maybe there's a sound bite that I use that like it's like a shot of like the person saying it, and then it cuts halfway through, a word or the sentence, so then I have to like fill it with something that looks halfway decent, because they might cut to their hand or something, and it's like, ugh, I don't want to put that. I want to put like something exciting,
So once you got all your cuts, how do you start making ideas?
Usually start. Oh, okay. So then from that chunk, which is usually about, I mean, for a movie, it's usually about, I'm gonna get like a 10-minute file of selects, and then what I'll do is I'll go back and really fine cut that. So like from that, it whittles that down into smaller chunks, and like I'll take like, hopefully from that I find what I look for first are dialogue parts. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to have like words.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't think I have any like instrumental remixes. There's always something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Almost everything you do has a great instrumental SFX element to it, though.
Oh, thanks. Well, you know why? It's because I find it harder to make the words interesting. So I guess that's why I start with it, because I really just need to like have that element, so I can like build off of that.
When you have those samples and you're composing ideas, what are you composing in? What software?
Ableton.
And do you use the turntable at all? Because there's loads of scratching in your stuff. Mm-hmm. Are you kind of like jumping back and forth and like, I'm gonna just try some ideas on the turntable now for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, with the turntable, I kind of know what I want it to do, so I'll just basically like, I guess for the first like, let's say it takes me a week. I'll for the first like 3 days, I'll just kind of like put like placeholders for where the scratches would be. I'll just like repeat. Like if it's like someone saying "Hey now," I'll just put "Hey hey 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 now," and then replace it later with like "Took a hey now," because I know I don't want to just do it one by one. It'll take forever to just keep going back and forth. Like I want to do all the scratches.
You decide in your head what the scratch is going to be before you touch the turntable.
Yeah.
And
I'll just do all of them at once. Like if I have if I need to scratch "Hey now," and then I need to scratch like a punch sample, and someone saying like, "What the hell?" I'll wait till I'm like pretty much done, and then go scratch everything, and then put the scratches in, because sometimes having that element inspires more things, so then it kind of gives me a fresh like look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then you record that sample in Serato, like you record the video output.
Yeah.
And
I'm not actually recording into Ableton when I scratch. I'll export the instrumental, and then put that in Serato, and then that's my like the click track basically.
Yeah.
Then I'll scratch so everything's on beat, and then I have a clean a cappella scratch that goes back into Ableton, and then I'll put the scratches where they need to be, and then and a lot of times I'll just like mess around for a little while, and then that's where like kind of sometimes the solos come out. It's like, oh, I have this, and just
And so sometimes when you're scratching, you're jamming around, you're messing around. You're not doing straight ideas that you've already had. Sometimes you do like improvise for a bit.
Yeah.
And so you're doing the video and the audio simultaneously in Ableton?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's not where I finish. Like that's kind of the it depends. Because sometimes if I've done a lot of like if it's like a meme or something, which I haven't done in a while, but like if it's a meme that I'm just putting straight to like Facebook video or whatever, I might just go straight from Ableton to out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I want to put, obviously fades and, titling and everything, and if it's for like if it's like a studio thing, like I'm definitely refining it in Premiere. And there have been times where I actually just rebuild the entire thing in Premiere with, the ProRes HQ files, because I don't think Ableton can handle that much. Like definitely not 4K.
Have you seen the Ebo Suite plugin for Ableton?
Mm-mm.
I'll send you a link after this. It's a video plugin for Ableton.
Ah.
Yeah. It's,
to edit?
To perform too. It will do multi-track. It will do alpha channel stuff. It will do blending. You can play it like a video sampler. Yeah, it's and also interactive stuff. You can plug it into infrared, connect camera kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff.
Damn.
I'll send you a link afterwards because
okay.
I feel like you'd enjoy that. Yeah, so I use Ableton too. When I finish, I'd kind of use Vegas to compose, but then I use Ableton to compose as well. But I kind of use both, and I make ideas.
Oh wow!
In
Wait,
Vegas.
so how because you were always Sony Vegas. So what's your workflow like?
Very similar to yours. I make all the cuts first.
Yeah.
I put in markers on a giant timeline, and then I sort the clips by like sound effects, sound bites, and I also nowadays I sort by whether it rhymes. So I cut the sound bite into how the end of it sorts.
Okay. I've always wondered that because my stuff never rhymes. If there's a rhyme in my remixes, that's total accident.
It's a lot of work in the first stage, and then it's a lot of fun in the second stage. Because you like literally have to. It's mind numbing sometimes when you're doing like 4 or 5 hours.
So when you're working, when you actually have the files to like work with, you have a whole section of rhymes.
Yeah. It's like all my sound bites are sorted by rhyme, and then I sort them by theme. Because sometimes I'll have rhymes, but it doesn't make sense, and then I have to sort by theme that doesn't rhyme, but it has a narrative. So yeah, I'll send you a video after this too.
That's crazy, dude. But it's such a payoff because like your stuff, it's like a song, like because it rhymes.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. I like doing auto tune occasionally, but I feel like a lot of the internet remix stuff is too much auto tune.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, that's the only
Yeah.
vocal trick they do, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, if you do it too much, it becomes, in a set, if you're DJing a 60-minute set and every single song is auto-tuned
Oh yeah,
vocals,
you can't do
it
that.
becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
plus, it's hard because like the Gregory brothers do it so well. It's just like, why am I? I've tried to put auto tune in mine. I'm like, why am I doing this? This is
yeah,
garbage.
they're actual good songwriters.
Yeah,
And it's
they
like,
make it good. They rhyme it. It's just like, ugh, I can't. I'm not touching that.
but even the Gregory brothers, like all their stuff in a 60-minute DJ set, I guess it's where like they do actual shows where they perform, you know what I mean? And it's like, whereas a DJ set's just a totally different thing. I think I go almost solely for, most of the time, trying to get a dance floor version of a movie, TV show remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, like through your YouTube work, I don't know if it's like through your YouTube work or networking, you've been called by studios and game companies. Like the Iron Man thing was official, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That was official after I did just the YouTube whatever. I was like, I'll just do it. Whatever. There's,
nice.
I like Iron Man.
It was that like Jon Favreau directly saw it and decided.
Yeah, that was literally like on Twitter. He hits me up. I'm like, holy, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. Honestly, I had no idea anyone was watching this stuff because it was like that was still back in like when YouTube was still like it was almost taboo. I remember talking to like other YouTubers like we're sitting around like this sucks because our platform is considered taboo. You know what I mean? Like only a few people really kind of got what was going on, and I didn't really get what's going on like fully. There was still it was way bigger than what I knew.
But you've engaged and done remixes with a lot of YouTubers too, which is like a really smart, ahead of your time thing to do, because I think a lot of people didn't take it seriously as a media platform, and now all these people that you've worked with, like Smosh and Philly D, they're huge.
Yeah, and they were the ones that they really got it, and they understood like it's all about. I mean, it's not all about collaboration, but like collaboration helps so much because you share audiences. It's not I think YouTube was like just that whole community was the first time that like in my like career that I felt like, oh, this is not a zero sum game. You know what I mean? Because before, growing up in DJing and battling and all that stuff, it was like, no, there can only be one. Like, oh man, I gotta get the spot or whatever. Like with them, it's like, we're friends. Let's do a video together, and then it'll be cool. Like Mr. Guitar Man or Smosh or Phil DeFranco or whoever. Like you just share the audience. It's not like if one person finds out about me, they're gonna lose audience from. No, it's the same. They're not going anywhere. It was a very unique thing. I liked it.
Yeah, and those YouTubers, they have super engaged audiences. Like I think that's really amazing. In times I've seen, like when I've got retweets from quite famous directors or actors, you'll get a few hundred retweets, maybe a few thousand, and then getting a retweet from one of these YouTubers, you get 20,000, and it's also
ridiculous.
There's thousands of kids sitting there clicking like straight away, and their audience is super engaged. And I know whether it's like older people are just not on that platform, but it's more exciting in a way than traditional media.
Well, you get that because they built this form, this like communication that is like instant gratification. Like all that is not by accident. Like that's the one advantage in the beginning for YouTube. It was like you upload the video and then you get instant feedback, like whether it's good or bad. Like I used to be, at first I was like, this is the best because like your audience tells you what you want or tells you what they like and whatever, and then you start getting your negative feedback. You're like, I kind of don't like this, But I think it's a good thing because you get. You know what I mean? Like
I kind of love negative feedback. That's kind of it can amuse me endlessly sometimes because I don't take it seriously, and I've had times when people have started off being rude, and then you talk to them a bit more, and then they once you engage with people, they tend to be a lot less like, Your shit's bullshit. But yeah, no, I see. But that's the thing, engagement like that didn't exist before. No one could like tweet at Tom Cruise and let him know that they hated his latest movie, you know. And now there is that channel. I kind of love it. I kind of feel like in music it's really interesting because along with it comes these kids who are listening to like, you know, South American remix music that's all based on Latin beats, and listening to music from India and listening to South Korean rappers, and that kind of stuff is fascinating. Like, you didn't have that when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I there's something that I do miss about like just not having to worry about that aspect of it. I think it's because I like just kind of being in a vacuum and just pumping shit out. Like,
out of the bunker.
Yeah. Without the, hey man, how come this is garbage? How come this is you know, just. But the audience that I have on there is generally very nice, so that's cool.
Have you ever adapted or changed to what you do based on criticism you saw on the internet?
Not consciously, but I'm pretty sure, you know, if I read something that was like, I read a couple things that like it like they got what I was doing. Like if I took a shortcut, they called me out on it, and I was like, oh man,
yeah,
all right, can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like I gotta keep the level up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep, you know, because then somehow they just know. You know what I mean? Like they will let you know. You know, if it's like, hey, you're slacking off this one. How come this one was like this? And it seems like you didn't really try on this one. Like, damn, I didn't try. I didn't put the time in. You know, that's kind of why I stopped doing like the memes. It was just like the disposable feeling. You know, source material is just like, ugh, if you start with garbage, it's going to be garbage.
Yeah, I kind of love it all. The garbage and the high finesse stuff.
There's things that are amazing, but you know.
Yeah, I think like when you look at the kind of kids in their bedroom learning After Effects and Cinema 4D and the kind of stuff that's being put out on the internet, it's just another level that's out there now, and that stuff is kind of amazing. And so bringing it back to like movies and stuff, one of the recent things you did is Edgar Wright, the Baby Driver thing, and you did before that the Cornetto trilogy remix. Is that how Baby Driver came about? Basically, again, he saw Cornetto trilogy and got in touch.
No, I got in touch with him when I did a Scott Pilgrim remix.
Oh yes,
yeah, and that was another one. It was just like I had no idea he was even checking for that, because it's you never know, like, because sometimes you'll get a response like Jon Favreau, Edgar Wright they're very tuned in. They're like all about that. But some directors just aren't. So,
but Baby Driver seems like it's the most on the money for what we do.
Oh, big time. Yeah. That was actually, I don't know how you felt, because you did a remix too. Watching it, it's like, how am I going to do this? Because it's so perfectly synced. Like
Well, I feel like it's the kind of film you would direct, given a feature film to do. Like, it was a lot of work. I was over when I sat down and watched it. I was like, oh, cool, that's a cool intro they did. And then it kept going. I was like, oh my god, he's doing this the entire time. Yeah. So, it's like, I think so they should redo a musical like Singing in the Rain and hand it to OK Go. Just give OK Go like 120 million to do it.
To do that.
Yeah, is that
There's another one, man? Like, I don't know what I would do with an OK Go remix. It's just
like, it's already full.
Yeah.
There are some things
that was a challenge, but a fun challenge, because it was like, okay, how do I? It's already amazing. How do I take it to another place? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the wheel scratching. I always love wheel scratching. Skid scratching. Is a cool sound. I think there's a lot of those sounds from movies that, like, when we were kids growing up, people that were making sample-based music were sampling movies.
Oh, totally.
but just the sound. And
Yep.
now that you can do the sound in the video, it just takes it to a totally different level.
Yeah, I thought that's kind of the advantage for us coming from like, sample based music, because our ears are already like looking for that. You know what I mean? That's probably why I start just looking for sounds naturally in when I'm cutting up a movie, because it's just like that's what I'm used to doing regardless. Like looking for the long stretch of like the tire screech or the screams or the anything that doesn't have orchestral music on top of it.
Are you able to watch a movie without thinking like that?
No way.
Yeah, so you are constantly on the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to be, right? Like you're just watching it and you hear them saying something and it's in like this cadence where it's like, oh, I could put that on top of something. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even have to be anything like profound that they're saying, as long as if they're saying it in a certain way, like sometimes that's enough.
When you're looking for samples, do you go for like DVDs with 5.1 sound and try and find bits without the backing music?
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of luck with that?
Yeah. I think because all the Blu-rays are 5.1 now, so you just go and you rip it, and then you mute all the tracks that have the orchestration and the subwoofers on it, and it's pretty clean. Like I would say, some of the older movies aren't. They try to like it's kind of fake 5.1.
Yeah.
But for the most part, all the new stuff, like for sure, you're getting clean dialogue all day.
And so you're doing a lot of stuff in 4K?
No, I tried a couple things, but it's just, I think going from Ableton, it was just like, what am I doing? Forget it.
Have you DJ'd any stuff in 4K?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I haven't needed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, some projectors are still, 720. It's like, why? And I think there's a lot of forgiveness in a live setting because there's lights and alcohol, and I don't think anyone is going like, man, the resolution on that is a little lacking. Like, dude,
yeah, I'm used to 4K now.
Yeah. I am kind of. I do look at it and I'm like, oh man, it is pretty pixelated, but half the stuff is ripped from YouTube anyways.
Yeah. When was the last time you had a DJ battle?
I think maybe 99, 2000.
Oh wow! And you won it the last time you won.
No, the last time I did not win for sure. But it wasn't like a head to head. It was like you do everyone does their thing and then you get first, second, third, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think battling to me was like, I loved it at one point. And I was all about it, but it just, I maybe lost, I don't know if I lost interest, but I still loved it. It's so, there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? But I felt like I probably needed to move on because I wasn't, definitely wasn't keeping up, because it's very, at least for the like turntables battles, it's very technique oriented, so you really had to be on point if you were going to win a battle.
Yeah.
Which is good because it really pushed you to step your game up. And it was like, okay, I think I'm good here.
Are you still working to do things that you can't do yet, or are you peaked?
When it comes to like a set, like a live set, or you're talking about?
With your turntablism and with your hands, like crossfader and scratching, like.
I'm always practicing scratching. That's the one thing. I don't know if I'm trying to like invent new stuff, but I definitely need to. You need to like. It's like if you're a guitar player, you need to like play. You know what I mean? Or you're not really a guitar player.
Yeah, you're in the Scratch documentary. It's fair to say you're recognized as one of the world's best scratch DJs.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think pretty much everyone in the Scratch documentary is a solidly world-renowned scratch DJ.
Okay.
There's no one not good at scratching and super recognized for it in that documentary.
You're probably right.
Name one person in there who you're like, where are they now?
That's a good point. Everyone can freaking scratch. Yeah.
Other things you can't do in scratching because you add video to it.
That's a really good question. You know what? Now that Serato has video, I don't think there really is.
Are there times when you're moving so fast it's not moving at all?
Yeah, there are some times. I mean, but it also depends on the frame rate of your video too.
Okay, yeah.
There are some things that you do that don't look that great when you're, when it's video. You know what I mean? And I think that probably has changed a little bit how I scratch, especially when in like my live shows, because it's always, I don't know if it's like this for you, but like for me now it's about how it sounds, but it's also like I have to check see how it looks, and I definitely adjust, the technique to so it looks good.
Do you have a monitor in front of you that you're watching?
When I practice?
Or no, when you're performing?
No.
Do you look back at the screen, or do you just know where you are?
Sometimes, but I kind of know. I'd rather look at the record because I have the marker. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So, and that's what I'm used to doing, and that's just for me. That's just like a more natural way to do it. I used to, when I first started performing with video, I definitely looked at the screen way more than I should have for some reason. And then I just realized later on, like, why am I looking at the screen? Like it's not going to change. You know what I mean? Like if it sounds this way, it's going to look that way because that doesn't drift. You know what I mean? Like stop looking, That's like people mix, people who mix now. I see so many DJs are mixing and they're like looking at their computer. I'm like,
yeah.
It's not going to tell you.
They're choosing the next track.
Yeah, during the blend, I don't know.
I think a lot of people
are. I think they're trying to line up the waveform. I think they're mixing by sight.
Yeah, really. So I mean, you see, when I started mixing, it was on turntables, DJing house tracks. But then I was living in Eastern Europe and playing wacky music, like mixing Serbian folk music with drum and bass. So I really got into beat matching. I can beat match. Yep. But nowadays I don't bother because the computer's so accurate. If I make a track beforehand, I know what tempo it's at. So I hit the sync button all the time. And it's not that I can't beat match. It's just like it makes it so much more fun to jump straight to like looping and playing samples and effects. And it's like when I used to perform live with 4 decks and 2 a cappella tracks and 2 audio tracks. And the thing is people don't really realize what you're doing. And so when someone comes up and asks you, like, oh, do you have this track by Justin Timberlake? And it's like, while you're discussing that, you're messing up the 4 spinning plates that you've got going. So it's like, just don't do it anymore.
Yeah. To be honest, when we first started using computers, a lot of people that I talked to, just like not non-DJs, just audience members, they assumed that the computer was mixing for us anyways.
Yeah, a lot of people come up to me and ask who's doing the video.
Yeah. Oh, I still get that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm scratching. I'm just like, who's going to keep up with this? Like, how? That's crazy. You can't. That would be so much harder than what is actually going on.
Does anyone ever? Here's a question I get asked often. Does anyone ever ask you about your remixes? Like, who made the music? Like, what's that music underneath it?
Yeah, I get who's doing the music or who's doing the visuals. Like, what they don't think that you can do both.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, it's really not that difficult once you put the videos. Once you set everything up, you're doing your DJing thing.
Yeah, and I think now that there is Serato video and it is so accessible, and there's even stuff like Virtual DJ that you can download and use for free. It's so accessible. There are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people DJing video. But are there a lot of video remix people composing video, or
I don't know,
is it
man.
all just mostly people doing music video stuff?
I think it's a lot of music video stuff. The weird thing is, like, I think that there's more people that are non-DJs that are sort of looking at what, like, something that like you and I would do, and kind of embracing that. I think we're embraced more by non-DJs in the video remix world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have that. I have a lot of friends who are DJs who I started out with and who now play in house music clubs and that kind of thing. And I love all the music they're doing, and I'm really engaged in that world in terms of listening to it. But I find there's a complete disconnect when it comes to adding the video on. Of like, in a certain way that sounds like I played this one club in Vegas, and I went there and played once and played my kind of a set, and they were like, look, just come back next time and play like David Guetta and the tracks that the other DJs play. God. And I did it. I came back with the music videos that were all like chart, stuff. And I there's a lot of chart music I like, but a lot of stuff I don't. And I played that set and they loved it. But it just at the time I was making really good money, and it just felt too boring to do with my time. I'm not criticizing that world, but I love the kind of stuff that you do. Yeah, there's a few good video remixes, but it's hard to know where to find them, because I think YouTube's the place that I look to try and find people who are doing it.
For anybody, like if you're going to do something, even if you're like more into Vimeo or what's the other one, Dailymotion or something, like you're going to put on YouTube no matter what. That's kind of the default. But it's hard. Like, I get what you're saying. With like just. There is a disconnect for some reason. It's funny because like we both come from DJing, and so does like Second Nature, JE, Pogo. Like we're all from like the music world, and we're doing this like remix thing. But the people who are taking after it are not at all from that. They're more from the visual world, or more from just like media, which is kind of why. I don't know if you noticed, even like on, I'll be watching TV and I'll see a commercial that kind of like does that. And it's just like, oh, I can tell this guy's not a music guy who made it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I can see them making it in like Premiere or Final Cut. You know what I mean? And just kind of chopping it in, because it's not musical. Like when you hear, like, I can tell when when like Steve Porter does something, that guy's a music guy.
Yeah,
you know I mean,
he started out as making music. Yeah.
Weird that hasn't kind of like translated with a lot of other people in that world.
What's interesting is, and I'm not a turntablist. I'm not good at turntables. What's interesting the people you named, most of them were turntablists. And there's a lot of them. There's like DJ Yoda in the UK.
Oh, Yoda's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, and doing. I mean, people that do video sampling and do video sampling musically, a lot of them come from hip hop. Like, do you think there's something about turntablists and hip hop sampling that informs that? Like, I can make music out of anything. Whereas with electronic music, they might be a bit more like, I've got a 909 and a 303 and a Juno and let's go. Like, I think
there's a lot of like. There's a lot of cool samples in dance music, though. That's a weird thing. But I think it's the style of sampling. So I think like when I think of dance music sampling, I think of like Daft Punk. You know what I mean?
So Daft Punk, Fatboy Slim, The Prodigy, these acts, the Chemical Brothers, these acts I really like. I think they're initially informed by hip hop. All of those people started out loving hip hop first and being hip hop producers, and then they love electronic music, and I think they bring the hip hop aesthetic over to dance music, and that was the thing that I found fascinating about them, that I think exists in the video remixing thing.
That's a very good point. Like, I think, and adding to that, it's just like, I think because when you think about hip hop sampling, it's just like everything. You sample from video games, you sample from, your baby crying or like whatever, like that sensibility it helps so much when you, I mean, like we were talking about before, you're watching a movie, you're just thinking about it. It just comes to you like, oh, I gotta go home and I'll find that, and and also I think the amount of sampling, you know what I'm saying, like, because I don't think I've ever really sampled like a loop on a video. It's mostly been like on top samples, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like where it's like kind of acting as the vocals or the instrumental stabs or whatever. That definitely, for me, that comes from the hip hop.
And that's what I mean is like electronic music people will understand composition from a synthesizer of like you play a note, you get a melody, but their loops will quite often be a loop put on top. Whereas someone who's a turntablist like you is used to taking a tiny little and then turning that into a melody.
Yeah, dude, that makes a lot of sense because like I listen to like your stuff, I listen to like Pogo stuff. Like you guys make these beautiful loops that you can listen to. You know what I mean? Like your Wolf of Wall Street is just like that's a song. You know what I mean? Like that is a track.
Well, it's a great song, easy sample to start off with. To be fair, that is just one loop of Matthew McConaughey singing as he did.
To it, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't just, you didn't just loop it and put it on Instagram. Like you made a thing out of it. You put a bass line underneath. You had the perfect just sound. Like I don't think if you gave 10 hip hop producers that same sample, which I'm sure it's been done. Like I don't think it comes out like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it gets chopped up a lot more because coming from like as a turntablist, like our thing is like, nah, you gotta make it different. You know what I mean? You gotta do hell stuff to it, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you should add to it. Sometimes you should let that guide the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like whereas me, like I'll take a sample and I'll kind of like force it into something. You know what I mean? It's a totally different approach. I think it's cool to do both.
Yeah, totally.
Because I know my often like the stuff that I don't release is just like, wow, I'm really trying really hard right now. Like I need to not show this to anybody.
So you're constantly knocking out stuff that you're just making and you don't put out.
Yeah, I have a lot of just sort of like I'll start and then it's just like I'm just not in a good place with this one.
And you got a keyboard in the background. Are you playing musical instruments?
I'll play just keys just to get like a bass line or something, but it's not like I'm not like adding like beautiful chords or whatever. I don't do that.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna go off topic a bit. Just two more questions.
I talk about this forever.
Your glasses, are those your official glasses? I know you have your own brand of glasses, right?
Yeah. I made these with Arnett. I kind of like I wasn't the one who like went in and like shaped it and whatever, but like I worked with the designers, which is a really cool experience because I learned a lot about the anatomy of eyewear and stuff like that. And then I got to pick like the colors are inside it's red or if it's all black or if it's and I kind of like picked the shape of it. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. I wasn't there when they were like molding the clay. That wasn't clay. It was a 3D print of the sample of it.
They didn't show you a prototype and be like, "Are you happy? Are you happy with this?"
Oh no, I did. Yeah, we did do that. But I wasn't in there like, "Hey man, why don't you move this?" They did their thing, got back to me. I did, gave feedback. But it's cool because they let me like start. They just said, "Okay, look, just take some pictures, like just kind of an inspiration board." You know what I mean? So it's just like I just threw a whole bunch of like just didn't even have glasses in them, just like images and pictures and like kind of came out like that.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. I thought about getting a pair, but I thought it looked like I'm trying to beat you too hard. Get a pair and a suit.
Give me your address after I'll send you a pair, and then because there's different versions of it. It's not all the same.
Oh man, thank you. I will look like you now. I'm gonna get a suit and do the full thing. Yeah, I was. One last thing. So I want to do like a short version of this for like Instagram and all that, to be like, come over to YouTube and watch the long interview with Mike. Can I ask you to make like just a few things, sounds that I'm going to then make into a mini little remix?
Okay. The Mike Relm interview. Mike Relm. The Mike Relm interview.
Cool.
Tight.
Cool. Well, I'm sure I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much.
See you right on, Johnny.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Have a lovely day.
Later.
Okay, that was Mike Relm. Thanks for watching. Please tell me in the comments below what your favourite Mike Relm video is. Check out more of his work in the links below. And also, tell me other video remixes I should be interviewing, and I will get in touch with them and get them into a Skype interview. Thanks for watching. See you next week.